Covert narcissist will come across as someone like incredibly amazing in your life, like wow, like really beautiful, really ecstatic, like they can, they can have it all, even the wealth, they can have all these kind of things that would make you want to place this person on a pedestal, which makes it so interesting, like all these beautiful chemicals intertwine into one piece, and it's like, wow, like this is like really firing me on in so many ways. So to, receive the love from other people, because if we don't act as that kind of persona from these wounded aspects, we believe that we don't get it from other people, which is in the end why this whole orchestration and play is manifested in the first place. Covert narcissists can seem and appear just like any other narcissist, but they start off and they do it in much more subtle ways, which we will get to in a bit. But covert narcissists, what makes them also so unique is that they can come across as someone very spiritual and empathic as well. So what do I really mean, and why does it make it so damaging for the person who might fall victim to these kind of people? And what I mean with being victim is falling for their demeanor, falling for that mask, falling for their tactics and their tricks, because what makes them covert narcissists is that they're not really trying to build like a relationship like solidly founded on like a strong foundation of trust or mutual exchange, or like those beautiful values. It really depends what you hold as values for what you want and need in relationships. But they try, and they're just playing tricks all the freaking time. Like almost every single thing is like thought out from this kind of separate masks that they carry, which adjusts to your energy and your energetic field. It knows exactly where your pinpoints in the places inside of you where you actually lack that love. And this makes it just really interesting. So we're going much deeper into this from like our own traumatic history and condition perspective, because we can keep on pointing fingers that like this is a super bad person, all those kind of things, but actually if our soul really called us in to learn from, I think we also need to trust that, okay, this is happening in my reality, but why is it really happening? This specific person, and you might be really attracted to it, and if you were like me who has experienced this in the past, like you just want to devote your entire being to this person. You want to give gifts, you want to lavish and like really create something wonderful with this person. But why do we fall so dangerously in love with someone? So let me explain. Covert narcissists, disguised as somebody spiritual, wise, and really empathic and caring, they come forth with this love bombing. It's even more serious than just love bombing. It's even more crazy. These kind of people usually come into your life, fall into your life when you are healing certain wounds of, might it be abandonment or experiences of rejection, might it even be shame or guilt that you've experienced when you were younger, when you experienced in your family dynamics, or between you and your parents. It usually stems between you and your caretakers when you were young. So the lack of love, or like the sense of fast maturity that you needed to adapt to in your life. Maybe you were the one who needed to give and validate your own parents because they had a lot of narcissistic traits. So now like you grew up to people please, you grew up to really caretake for other people, and perhaps even overextend and sacrifice our own well-being in order to earn the love from other people, and to receive the love from other people. Because if we don't act as that kind of persona from these wounded aspects, we believe that we don't get it from other people, which is in the end why this whole orchestration and play is manifested in the first place. So you meet this specific person, and you might be going through, like the fear of rejection, for example. A lot of us hold it. It withholds us from really stepping into a lot of our power because we fear of being excluded, we fear of being left out. So the covert narcissist will come across as someone like incredibly amazing in your life, like wow, like really beautiful, really ecstatic. Like they can, they can have it all, even the wealth. They can have all these kind of things that would make you want to place this person on a pedestal, which makes it so interesting. Like all these beautiful chemicals intertwined into one piece, and it's like wow, like this is like really firing me on in so many ways. So you might be going through a hard time, you might be grieving, and this person like just ask you all these questions to like really show that they caretake for you in the most exceptional ways, to make you fall prone to become attached to them, so they can keep you holding on to them, which is what they really want. They don't only want the validation and actually your energy, because it's really soul sucking, like the things that you end up doing, and that they can make you stay in a certain position where that becomes a relationship dynamic where you're literally lowering yourself that you've become and tried to heal all the way to meet them to theirs, where in the end you become kind of like lifeless and soulless because you've just become so used to giving and overextending everything that you have in order for that love, which you have in some way projected outside of you. But that's the whole game with this physical reality in the end, because we need to find ways to get our needs met in the outer world for sure, but it needs to start from within. And this is the tricky thing also about modern dating and just this physical life in general. No other person in this world can feel the pain and traumatic experiences that made us believe and made us create certain voids that we think that we need other people to, that they are able to fill it. And I'm not saying don't ever go into a partnership, because I believe that's the highest expression of what love really is, unconditional love. And you can definitely grow with another person, especially when they're also learning the tools, and you can regulate with another person. And I actually encourage everyone to do that, even if you have avoidant tendencies. Like still work with these tendencies and stop pushing away and try to really understand why we create these walls. But let's get back. So they can really like they can caretake you in so many beautiful ways. They can validate you so much, just to get you in that position where you kind of lose the values that you actually hold and know true to your heart. You kind of lose and fall for the demure. You can fall for their beauty, you can fall for their appearance, you can fall for so many things, and they're really aware of it because they know how to play these tricks on people who can easily fall prone to it. So if, for example, you value consistency, you value someone who actually wants to get to know your inner being, you're probably listening to this, you're on the same page as me, or you're definitely on a similar journey if you're listening to this. I've fallen prone to a lot of these kind of dynamics before, and you create such a strength and resilience from these kind of dynamics. Now, of course, I don't wish anyone to experience this, but I'm sharing this so you can be more aware. And like when you come close to these kind of dynamics, just make sure you run. Like get away from this. Like don't invest yourself more into these kind of dynamics that are bound to just not create from a foundation of truth, but rather a foundation of until when are you going to break down, and have you given everything of your soul just to get something outside of you, whilst this person has been here to show you that, hey, you can break down and like completely collapse, or you create stronger boundaries with this person, which is what it's actually all about, is teaching you like what do you really need, what do you value in a person, to create a real relationship instead of this faulty, really potentially dangerous for your soul, sacrificing dynamic, which we don't want to repeat. This is where karma plays another role too. Karma is something that is just on this planet, and we learn through karma. There are many karmic lessons that we learn in order for us to, in a certain sense, graduate. Because when you've learned, and especially learned through the pain, because this life, unfortunately, just like the Buddha said himself, is suffering, and I'm not saying that you can't use that suffering, and that the suffering is here to teach us certain lessons, to become more whole and one and complete again within ourselves. And this is a sacred path, and if you're madly in love with someone, just continue to have just the uttermost respect for yourself, and don't create an entire problem of it, because the more that you point the fingers and you see this as a huge problem and that they are the problem, and we do the blame game, we only create more of this experience, because what we focus on is what manifests. This entire game is about awareness. That's pretty much it. And the entirety of the universe is based on where do we place our focus. So you can fall into the dynamic of this kind of person, and a common thing that many will experience is that they paint this amazing picture of themselves through certain actions that they take to really win you over, that they're this amazing person. And then this is also just a basic reflection of the common dating world. Kudos to you if you found your long-term partner via Tinder or other kind of places. I really don't believe that, but faith decides, and we need to keep on holding on to faith. If the inner voice says so, do it. But covert narcissist and the common dating world, and so many women, to be honest, and there are many beautiful women out there, and I have so much hope, because that's what we can and we should need. But you've met someone amazing, and then it might even be insanely beautiful on the outside, whatever it is that you're so prone to, or whatever hits you so hard, or hits those insecurities in you, and you really want them, they might say things like over compliment you, like, you're so amazing, you're such a gem, you're such an amazing person, and just those little breadcrumbs to feed you, it can really mean a lot to you in a moment. It's kind of like you're in a desert and you're getting a little bit of water to drink just to survive, because ultimately they just want the admiration and energy for themselves. They just want, I know it sounds harsh, but they really want to use you, and they might even do this unconsciously, but they play all these amazing tricks, and these kind of people are kind of like alligators, That's kind of like the symbolism of the narcissist, because they wear these insanely masks of anger, and they look a very certain way. But when you look through all those masks, you actually see that this is also just a pure being from the inside, but they're living through the masks, and all those thick shells that they've created, all the armor, the walls to maintain themselves and to survive. So they believe they need to work and fulfill themselves through the outside world, so they created all these tactics, and basically the whole existence and being of it is based off of that. Kind of people actually, most of the time, they might act like so, but they have no interest into getting to know your true inner being. And I'm saying this with the uttermost compassion, because it took me it took me ever since I was young to realize that these kind of people don't generally have no interest in getting to know your inner being. And I know it's really hard to see that when we're so in love with the facade, but I just encourage you, really study the dynamic, have the boundaries and speak up for your needs, because that's how you learn. Speaking up for your heart and what it really needs gives automatically, verbally, the manifestation, attention to these parts that actually needed the correct love from people all along, but never got it, and which left you in that state of lack and not having, which created also this whole neediness in the first place. And this neediness is completely valid, and there's nothing wrong with needing, because we all have needs. But there are plenty of other people out there who can fulfill the needs. Just be careful with falling for the wrong people, because that's just what this is all about. And you know, I'm not telling you there are not many pure people out there, but we all carry certain traits that need healing, and we all carry, certain wounds, that we're still trying to fulfill in the outer world. And like whatever that is, like that's just the life. And we can over mentalize these kind of things, but I think that the most radical thing we can do is just go straight to the source. Like, is this energy mine? Yes or no? Okay, no, it's not mine. This is another person's energy. I'm continuously putting my energy to, and I take it as mine. You take that whole load. You're with really the wrong person that actually withholds you from really flourishing as your abundant self, or you continue to feel it. Okay, that can be one. And why am I choosing this? Why am I unconsciously still choosing this? Why am I consciously choosing this? Like, we don't even need much words to feel into the connection that we have with another person. If you're someone like me, you spend a lot of time meditating, like that's how I just unravel this wisdom within myself. Obviously through the experience and the expressed kind of storyline that plays outside of us. But just by going within and tapping into the energies, meditation is all about, you are literally shining light on what you not are, and what is not serving you, to continue with where your heart wants to lead you. So, sit with it, meditate, and really ask yourself the questions like, why am I so falling for this person? Like what is it that I really need to know? Like what do I need to continue? What is the truth really here? Because that's really what will keep us going, and what will keep us and allow us to come closer to a person that really is genuinely interested in getting to know you and really respects you and admires you in the same way that you to them. No one is complete. Everybody is complete in their essence, but nobody is perfect. So, like when you date, just be really cautious to, take into consideration the things that I just said. And yeah, just have the uttermost discernment and, just be careful in the dating world, because, like the more we open our hearts, like the more we need to protect it, like if you're like me and you always gave everything, without sin compromiso, without any compromise, like without any problem, you carried your heart chakra literally on your freaking arms and your shoulders and your, everywhere, and you gave it so freely to everyone. Like, you deserve someone who is naturally a lover too. And if you want to learn more about these certain things, because where we're heading is to the most fulfilling relationships, and I'm gonna tell you, the more that we lean into this growth that I'm talking about, the more you will find relationships become more deeper and more vulnerable and more truthful. And it's because you're shining the vulnerability and truth within yourself, not only to yourself but to others. So yeah, continue to give yourself the attention that you need. Like, healing isn't easy. It's not done in a freaking day. But these things that I just told you can come afar, and it can come a long way. And yourself. And I know that when we take back our power, we can feel this emptiness of like, fuck, like this person isn't in my life right now. Like, maybe I really lost something. I lost myself. And it's true, you needed to let certain parts of your ego and pain version of you die. And because that was so projected onto the other person, because that's the healing journey of this physical 3D reality. There's no other way to it, unless you go to the straight, like super non-karmic, less karmic, like dharmic, like route. It's like not through experience, like just meditate, like be a Buddhist or Zen monk, like you can do that path too, I prefer like just both of them. I live in between those two worlds, and I prefer it that way, because that's just where I'm heading. But yeah, like, you get to know this person, and if they don't want to get to know you in the same way that you really deeply know that you deserve to be loved, like, continue with the boundaries, placing them, and be intentional with the relationships that you want to create, because they really shape who you are. And I'm gonna tell you, when you finally, close the chapter, let go, and sit at the ocean. The ocean teaches you how to let go, like sit with water. The weight that will be lifted off of you is so worth going through the pain. The weight lifted off of you and the discernment that will come from it, and the truth and the wisdom, it's so worth sitting with it just a few hours longer than you would usually like sit only 10 minutes with yourself or whatever, journal, or really allow yourself to sit with it. It's gonna pay off. So take care out there, my friends. I have a lot of love for you guys. I know this path isn't easy, and I just have the uttermost compassion for you, because life is not easy, and it is really all okay that is currently experienced, as tough as it might be. The drenches that we go through, you are really not alone. You can count on people, you can rely on them. Like, be vulnerable, be misunderstood, be rejected. As long as you stay truthful and vulnerable, like, you're gonna come so far, and the relationships are gonna be so amazing. So yeah, that's it for the covert narcissist. Like, I have other videos about avoided and anxious attachment. You can check on this YouTube page. I'll probably be sharing more of these kind of videos, because I also believe in, this is something that I encourage everyone. If you've gone and you've healed certain things, it's dharma to share with other people you've learned from your path, and yeah, the energy will speak for itself. So, share your energy. I'll see you in the next one.